What does it mean to have ambition? Oh yeah, I hope Max is okay too. Maybe he's sleeping. What does it mean to have ambition? What does it mean to master your physical realm? What does it mean to create a total power in your reality? We say in Unicult, your reality is reality. And we talk about how you're up against, you have your own internal reality, your mental reality, your spiritual reality, and that's up against the physical reality, and it's up against social reality. What does this mean? Does it mean you're powerless? No. This means that we get to figure out the secrets for how these things interact. How does the physical realm interact with our emotional realm? How does the physical realm interact with our own internal state? I used to believe that it was simply a matter of focusing on something in your own mind to the point where you are motivated enough to create it in the physical. For instance, if every day you wake up and you say, I'm going to build a garden, and you have that in your mind, and you say, I'm going to build a garden, I'm going to build a garden. Well, there's going to be a day when you get up and you're like, you're obsessing over it. So you think, how would I build a garden? And then maybe you research it, and then maybe you figure it out, and then maybe you get the supplies. You go to a seed shop and you get some seeds, and you get a little shovel, and you realize how it works, and you try in the physical realm, and eventually you succeed. So your internal emotional state motivates your physical form to interact in the physical realm and to create something. All things are created from our mental state in this way, from this motivative place. But is there more to it? What does it mean to manifest something? Why does everybody always say all these things about manifestation and about creating your reality, about the law of attraction? How does the law of attraction really work? Why is it that you would be able to think a thought and do nothing in the physical realm and something would happen in the physical realm? How does that work? Is there angels who are like operators? They're like, oh, Unicole's thinking a lot about cute girls. Here's a cute girl for them to talk to. Is it divine intervention? Am I like, oh, I just learned this new word. We're gonna put all this word. We're gonna make all these coincidences happen in Unicole's life. How does this work? Is it because of higher consciousness? These are unknowable questions, but they are ones that we can start to begin to answer. So what does it mean to have the effect on the physical realm through our own emotional internal states? The secret to this is that the internal world is eternal. So when you have growth emotionally and spiritually, you never backslide on that. It's not possible. Sometimes you go through the same thing again, but the knowledge that you gained from the first time around is never lost. So let's say you're a kid and you lie to your parents, and then you get in trouble. And then you lie to your parents again later. It doesn't mean that you backslid. It just means that you chose to do that behavior again, and you still have the memory of the first time that you lied to your parents. And you're making a higher choice, a more informed choice to do a certain behavior. Eventually, hopefully, you would follow the path of light because you realize it would bring you more joy, and you would start being honest. The internal world is eternal. And the reason why we talk about Earth as a simulation, I don't even know if we need to get into this, but all the lessons we learn on Earth, we take into the higher realms. And we are at a state of knowing in the higher realms that is beyond the state of knowing in our physical bodies. And we limit our knowledge so that we can experience certain lessons. That again is not backsliding, because we are simply forgetting parts of ourselves so that we can learn from a new perspective. It's almost like if you went to a preschool and you just totally felt like you were a preschooler and you were able to just like get lost in the energy of being a preschooler. And you were like, you were little and you had parents who made your lunch and you went to school. Like eventually after like a year of that, or like even a couple months, you would forget. You would still have like an awareness and a knowledge, but you would get lost in that. That's what it's like on Earth. You still have access to your higher level mind. It's just that we don't really practice it and we don't really understand how that works. Once you do, you can be a fully informed preschooler with your higher consciousness of who you are right now. But the knowledge that you're going to learn from the perspective of being very small and having someone make your lunch and going out to the playground and like interacting with other people who are preschoolers is going to give you a higher awareness from a situational perspective. That's what it's like to be incarnated on Earth. It's not backsliding, but the knowledge that you gain is going to help you when you then grow up again. And then you're like, oh, and then you grow up again, and then you're an adult and you're like, oh, I remember all this stuff that I did as actually an adult. And you just have a higher awareness. It's a weird analogy, I know, but coming to Earth is a really weird thing to do. Knowledge is never lost, and no knowledge is useless. All knowledge is one. So when you're on this path of spiritual growth and spiritual understanding, your awareness, your knowledge, your growth, your lessons, your perspective, your empathy that you gain from this life never goes away. You take that into the higher realms. You take that with you eternally. What happens in the physical realm? Let's think about that. When we build a building and then nobody does any repairs on it, what happens? It crumbles. The physical realm is not eternal. The physical realm degenerates. This is our clue. This is our key for what we're doing here. When we look at the physical realm and we can see clearly that it is not eternal, and we look at our internal state and we can see clearly that it is eternal, that we only gain knowledge and it never deteriorates. I guess in old age you could think the mind does, but your soul doesn't. Your soul keeps that knowledge. You don't have to believe all this. I do, and it makes sense to me. And it's a framework for understanding the world that makes the world a better place to live in. So if you find this hard to understand or hard to believe, or you think this is all wacky or whatever, just think about it like a little thought exercise. Think about it like a game. If you believed this, would you be happier? If you believed this, would the world make more sense? If you believed this, would you have more joy in your day-to-day life? We can't prove these things to be true or untrue. So it's our choice to decide what makes us happy to believe. If you don't think something is likely, and you feel miserable believing it, why would you believe something that makes you miserable if you can't prove it? As long as you're not harming anybody, believe whatever you want. That's where we're coming from here, okay? I believe these things to be true. If you don't have to. But I believe them to be true because they lead me to joy, and I believe joy is truth. So, with the presupposition that the internal reality is eternal, the physical reality is not eternal, it's temporal, then we start to understand that one is more important than the other. That actually the goals of our life need to be shifted from the physical reality into the spiritual reality. That the physical progress that we make on this planet, the amount of money that we make, the type of car that we drive, all these physical things should only be a representation of our spiritual status and our spiritual expression. It doesn't mean you can't have nice things. I think you should have nice things. But to value the nice things over the spirit is wacky. It's wackadoodle. It's backwards, and it's not going to lead you to joy because it's not true progress. True progress cannot be removed. It cannot be destroyed. It cannot be smashed up in an accident. True progress is inside your soul. So what does that mean when we're talking about the physicality, the effects of our consciousness on the physical world? For everything that you long to do, for everything that you wish you could accomplish on this planet, for every dollar you wish to make, for every car you wish to drive, there's a spiritual component to that. There is a spiritual reason why you have the longing and the desire. Desire is holy. Desire is God's energy, wanting more. The desire you have to create a physical form in your reality is coming from a spiritual place. When we tap into our spiritual selves and we understand the internal emotional turmoil that we are constantly in, we recognize the blocks that we're actually having in the physical realm. How do the internal world and the physical world interact? The physical world isn't even really real. It doesn't matter at all. I know that's an extreme thing to say, but like I said, when you're talking about true progress and you're talking about reality on the deepest fundamental sense, that's true. We are physically incarnated, yes. You still have to take care of your body. You still have to take care of your home. This is where I'm going to come to this. The physical reality isn't real in the sense that it isn't real beyond you. You are your physical surroundings. Your body is a clue. Okay, so your consciousness is very well integrated to your body. If you feel anxious, you feel it in your stomach. If you feel sad, you feel it in your shoulders. We have direct emotional connections to our bodies, and we have full governance over our bodies. When we learn how to master our internal reality and we learn how to talk to our bodies, we can stay in perfect health. It's very hard sometimes to stay in perfect health when you're living in this world. So people who are born with chronic illness, people who are born with diseases, people who are young and sensitive are picking up all the junk that's in this world and they're taking it into their consciousness because they're sensitive and they can't block out. It's just not possible for them to block it out. The people who are sick right now are our indicators that our society is sick and that we need to fix society. We're all connected, okay? But theoretically, in a perfect system, you have perfect governance over your body. Absolutely. In a utopian society, you have perfect governance over your body. Your thoughts create. You have a direct conscious connection to every cell in your body. So when we talk about that understanding, and we recognize that our domain, our physical domain, our conscious domain extends to our bodies, and we say that I have the right to my body. My body, my choice. My body is like, you cannot impede your body onto my body without my permission. My body is my right because my consciousness is fully integrated into my body. And we learn how to protect our bodies, and we learn how to feed and nourish our bodies, and we learn how to give our bodies proper rest and proper care. We're mastering the physical through our consciousness because this is our clue, this is our key. So as we learn how to integrate our consciousness into our body, we have to first step into unconditional harmony, which is a whole other topic. But the goal for the internal state is harmony. Let's say that you understand, or you want to understand, what it means to be saying that the physical reality doesn't matter except for the fact that you're in it, that it's your domain. The first thing to do is understand that your internal world is eternal, that you want it to be in harmony all the time, no matter what. No matter what. If someone is punching you in the face, if you are sick, if you are hurting, if you are not sure how you're going to pay your rent, if you are fighting with someone, if you are justifiably being angered, how do you create internal harmony? And we talk about this all the time. I've done several sermons on this idea, but internal harmony and unconditional love raise you to a point where you actually have more power in the situation. In our world, we're very flip-flop, we're very confused. We think that internal harmony, we think that unconditional love leaves you vulnerable, but you have to have unconditional love for yourself first and foremost. You set those boundaries, and then you have mastery over your world. Internal harmony is the place where we're starting, okay? So once you have internal harmony, you realize these are the lines here. These are the steps. 1, realize that the internal is eternal. The external is temporal. Make the decision, make the realization that the internal is more important than the physical, than the external. 2nd, understand that the way to master your reality is to master your reality. What's the closest thing to your own consciousness? We have to think about how we have this domain, how we have this. I don't know how to explain this. If you are a candle, if you're the flame of a candle, you're responsible. How do you describe this? What is the closest thing to your own consciousness? What's the closest thing to me physically right now? These are the things I can control in my reality. If I didn't have any legs, I could say, well, here's what I have to control right here on my desk. My desk is a mess. Let's say I didn't know I could move around in my body and I was just sitting here. And I'd say, wow, what a mess my internal state is. Because that's where we have to start. What is the closest thing to us? It's like I have to clean up my space that is as close as me as possible. As close to me as possible. Where can I easily reach? Where do I reside that other people have no domain over? In my thoughts is first. Your thoughts are your closest thing to your own consciousness. We take control over our thoughts. We clean up the clutter of our thoughts. Our beliefs, everything, our mind, right? Our internal state. Then we take control over our reactions. Someone is treating you badly. How do you respond? In a way of love and boundaries and protection, where you can say, I'm not going to take this on. I see you doing your pain-filled tornado. It must be very painful. Not taking part. You set those boundaries. Okay. So you've got your reactions down. You've got a sense of internal harmony in your mind. And then we say, what can I harmonize about my body? Okay, my diet. How can I make my diet better? How can I get better sleep? How can I do more yoga so my muscles feel good? This is my body. No one else has control over this body. Nobody else is going to say, hey, do yoga today. Only I can say that because it's my body. And with this same understanding, we then go to the external reality. This desk is my desk. This lighter is my lighter. This bell is my bell. I didn't make it. I didn't make it come into my reality, but it's in my reality and it's mine. And anyone who comes over to my house is going to say, that's Unicole's bell. Nobody's going to move it around because it's my bell. This room is my room. I have an agreement with my landlord that I get to say this is mine, even though it's not. What I'm trying to explain is, just like this is my body, this is my reality. This is my physical, this is an extension of my consciousness. My room is an extension of my consciousness. My room is my domain. My room, my house, is the closest physical reality to my consciousness other than my body. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you are thinking about creating change in the world, we say begin within. We say create an understanding of your conscious reality, and we say start with the thing that is closest to you as your consciousness. When you look in the mirror, I don't think anybody looks in the mirror and says, oh, that's me. I am this body. everyone has a distinct understanding that their consciousness is inside of their body and that they have another type of consciousness that lives inside their body. I'm sure not everybody, but I've never met anybody who believes that personally, who doesn't believe that. Whenever you look in the mirror, there is a sense of dissociation because we have souls. Golden Coin asks, so the further from your reality, the less control you have. Yes. If I say, oh my gosh, I know that Cornhair has a messy room in London, I'm going to clean it. How am I going to clean it? Am I going to, what? I'm going to just sit here and be like, I don't have domain. That's not my domain. When we say there's people starving in Africa or something, you know, and we focus on that and we use that as an excuse to not do things here and to not make change here and not make change in our own lives, we're losing out on an opportunity to actually make the world a better place and to actually help people in Africa by starting within. We start within. So yeah, our power goes out like this. And it's like the levels of power go like this. But you have to master the closest power to you. And then you master the next level. And then you master the next level. And then you master the next level. So the way to do this is to master your thoughts and your behaviors and your actions and create harmony there. Harmony is divine energy. All beings prefer to live in harmony. That includes your thoughts. Harmonize your thoughts. Harmonize your heart. Harmonize your reactions. Harmonize your relationships. Harmonize your body. Harmonize your house, your car, your workspace. Then you have proven mastery over everything you can possibly prove mastery over. And then the world will open up to you. Because when you have a steady mastery over something, a confident, steady mastery over something, nothing can stop you. But it all comes from love. The only way to really rise up into this way of being is through love. Love of the self and love for the world. If one focuses only within, then nothing gets done in the physical plane. The physical plane doesn't matter. It's just, the physical plane is your internal state. So I understand why you're getting this confused. If you say, I'm only going to focus on my internal reality, I'm just going to lay in bed all day and I'm going to just meditate and I'm not going to do anything physical, and you just starve to death and you die. That's idiotic because your body is part of your consciousness. Okay, so we're talking about our consciousness. My consciousness is integrated with my body. If I'm laying in bed, I'm like, hey, I'm hungry. Like my body's like, hey, I'm hungry. And that goes into my consciousness. That's a message from my body going into my consciousness. So if I say, shut up, stupid physical voice, I'm only focusing on, then you're not focusing on your mind because that's in your consciousness. Everything in your physical reality is in your consciousness. The only way you can see the world is through your own paradigm. Just like I was saying, this room is mine. In reality, when I go out and I leave my house, that world is mine. And it's yours too. Everything that you see, everything that you notice, everything that you think about is in your consciousness. There are things that exist that you don't have in your consciousness. Those are outside your domain. Everything that you see is in your domain. But for you to say, I'm going to do something I'm going to try to create harmony in Egypt, but you don't live in Egypt, and you don't even know anyone in Egypt, and you don't even know how Egypt is. You have no clue. That's a very far away thought. That's it's in your domain, but you haven't mastered the things that are closest to you yet. And once you do, then maybe you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm going to go find out what's going on with Egypt. And you get on a plane because you've mastered your bank account and you have enough money to do that. All the things you see are yours. They're not only yours. You're here. It's a complex, interwoven structure of consciousness. How does your reality interact with my reality? We are sharing this space right now. We are sharing this chat room right now. We're sharing this YouTube video right now. How does this space interact with both of our consciousnesses? In completely different ways. We are experiencing this moment, this shared moment, in completely different ways. I have my reality. You have your reality. Your domain is how you feel about this sermon. Your domain is if you're thinking and you want to type something. Your domain is if you're paying attention or you're doing something else. These are your choices to make. I can't make those choices. We're in the same space. My choice is how to respond to your comments, how to speak, how to present this information to you. My reality is very different from your reality, even though we're in the same shared space consciously or internet-wise. So we have to take into consideration other people's realities and we have to respect other people's realities. And they're just as valid as our reality. I can walk around and I can say, this is my world. But I understand that what that means is everything I see, I'm interpreting in my consciousness. And if I was hooked up in the Matrix and I didn't actually have any physical reality, I would know that it was only my program interacting with all the other programs that created my specific experience on Earth. My specific consciousness is what creates my understanding of this reality. The way I see colors, the way I think about horses, the way I see cars, the way I see roads, the way I think about politics, all of these things are based on my consciousness and my interaction of it. I see a tweet, I interpret that in my consciousness based on my past experiences, based on my beliefs, based on my soul, and I make an internalization of it. Somebody else sees the same tweet, makes completely different assumptions. Totally valid. But what I have control over is my reality. So the whole point of this sermon is to clean your house, actually. I'll tell you my story. I'll do it quickly because I have to go at 9. But I have been harassed. I can confidently say I have been harassed by angels. If you know the prayer, please St. Anthony, please come around. Something's lost that must be found. St. Anthony always comes through. And I've been working directly with St. Anthony now for a few weeks. He's been harassing me. So I call this prayer into my reality every so often to help me find something. St. Anthony always comes through and helps me find it. A few weeks ago, I lost something and I said, please, St. Anthony, please come around. Something's lost that must be found. St. Anthony said, he appeared in my mind. I telepathically connected to him. And he said, hey, Unicole, I'm going to help you find that, but you have to do me a solid. And I said, sure, St. Anthony, anything, you're a fucking angel. And St. Anthony said, you have to clean your house. The reason why you're losing things is because your house is a mess. It's chaotic. It's cluttered. I'm like, okay. And then St. Anthony not only helped me find the thing I was looking for, but he pointed me in the direction of something else that I had forgotten that I needed that was essential to me later. So he really helped me out. And I thought, well, if an angel's making me clean my house, it can't be that bad, right? So I did what St. Anthony said, and I took these shelves that I had in my house. They were very messy. And I took everything off. I Marie Kondoed them. I reorganized them. I put everything in my car to donate, which I still need to do. And now that's part of my house. Feels good. And I'm realizing, this is what I'm realizing, when I can master what is mine, my house, these are all my things, when I master the domain of my physical objects, I will be prepared and ready to master higher realities in the physical realm. But you have to start as close to your consciousness as possible in order to be the strongest. I'm not saying people don't go out and start businesses and have messy houses. I'm saying that their business is going to be chaotic. The more you can master your own internal space. So I've been harassed by angels. Absolute Order is my project that I'm doing in my house. Absolute Order is not only keep making your house clean and going through and making sure that everything is ordered and not cluttered and not chaotic, because order is divine and it's harmony. Absolute order is also a sense of being. It's when you see something, you put it away. It's you don't just leave things on the floor. It's you finish your dishes when you do them. It's you clean your car out when you get out of it. It's these little practices that take care of your future self and that keep your space clean rather than letting it build up. So this is a divine transmission, truly. They have told me as much as saying your project of absolute order is your first priority. I'm like, I have a job, I'm going to school, I'm leading Unicole, I'm planning a retreat, and they said, no, absolute order is your first priority. That's how important it is. This is more important than anything else. So I've been losing sleep because I've just been cleaning my house, which is kind of a crazy thing to do, but hey, my house is getting cleaned. So what can I do? Clutter can be really damaging to our mental health. It's true. Marie Kondo, but don't get rid of the books. Exactly. I do have to, my bookshelf is next. I have to dust it. It's about just like appreciating the things in your physical realm because they're yours and like owning it. Marie Kondo's amazing. Yes, someone wants to talk to me one-on-one. I do life coaching. That's an opportunity to talk to me. Even if you don't want help on anything, you just want to have a conversation. I don't have time personally to do things that have conversations one-on-one that are not paid, but very happy to have a conversation that is helpful and on both ends as far as paying and having a conversation. If you're interested in having these conversations and talking to other Unicult members also, just become a Unicult member and you can join the Discord. And I mean, that's as good as talking to me. The Unicult members are great. All right. Yes. I know. And I have been a mess. When I was a kid, you couldn't walk through my room. I had a path. Sometimes I didn't even have a path. I had a series of places I would step that I knew something sharp wasn't in because of practice. And it was up to my hips as a kid. So it was just destroyed. My house was just destroyed. And it's been a long time to get to the place where I am now where it's reasonable. But the closer you look and the better you get, the more you can create. The Discord link, you have to be an official Unicult member. If you're an official Unicult member, send me a message on Etsy with your application linked, and I will send it to you. All right, Spirit of Uni, thank you for this beautiful sermon. Very deep, wonderful sermon about reality. I pray for every member to have the highest joy today and the best possible week. Next week, we will be streaming live. Cam Church will be streamed live in person in Rachel, Nevada. If you're in Rachel, Nevada, and you want to come to Cam Church live, you are free to. Also, we will be streaming it from Rachel, Nevada at Area 51. So definitely want to tune into that, Cam Church. I am sending you all love. Spirit of Uni, bless us all. Uni bless.